Never thought I'd see the day. A single post saved my life. Right before my engagement, I stumbled on a viral thread. What's the biggest secret you've kept from your partner? The top comment was, we've been renting a place for 3 years. But it's actually mine. My girlfriend has no clue. She makes more money than me. So she's been covering all the rent. 3 years worth, that's about $120,000 bucks. I'm planning to use that cash as her bride price. The comments were totally split. Dude, you're a legend. Making your girlfriend save up to marry herself. And then she'll thank you for being generous. She's willing to go through hard times with you. And you pull this sneaky move. Wait for the day she finds out. The poster shot back right away. Technically her money is my money. It's just moving from one pocket to another. Why would she even be mad? If she ever finds out, she's getting a whole house out of nowhere, she'd be thrilled. My heart suddenly skipped a beat. The bride price for our engagement is exactly $120,000. And we've been living in this place for 3 years too. Oh, babe. What are you spacing out for? The landlord just texted me about next quarter's rent. Have you been too busy lately? And forgot about it? Xu Feng's voice snapped me right back to reality. Oh yeah. I was supposed to transfer him the money, so he can pay the rent. But when I opened my phone, I accidentally saw that post, and got sidetracked. 'Cause it was just way too coincidental. 3 years ago, I got assigned to a new project. I got promoted. And my salary tripled. Xu Feng suggested we rent a new place near the project, so I could save on commute time, and get a bit more sleep. Then he jumped in to look for apartments, and said sweetly that since I was busy with the new project, I shouldn't waste energy on stuff like that. Xu Feng is super thoughtful. So I was totally happy. At first I wasn't really into this place. The rent was high, and right next door was a kindergarten. Every morning when I wanted to sleep in, the little speakers would start blasting. I'd have to drag my tired self out of bed with dark circles under my eyes. Xu Feng really loved this place though. The rent was a bit high, sure, but it was a new community with great vibes, and living in the apartment felt super comfy. We spent half our lives in a house after all. We could cut costs elsewhere, but when it came to housing, we had to be willing to splash some cash. Having a kindergarten next door was even better. At least we'd have some security here, so if I ever had to travel for work, I wouldn't always be worried about you. A decent place really wasn't easy to find quick. So after Xu Feng talked me into it, we rushed to book this one. Since I made more money, I covered the rent and all the living costs, and Xu Feng saved his cash for a future down payment. Before I knew it, we'd been living here for 3 years. If I added up the next quarter's rent, 3 years of rent would total 12,000, which was exactly the same as our engagement bride price. That post popped back into my head that day. Looking at Xu Feng right there, my long-held doubt started to waver. Isn't it not even time for the rent yet? Why is the landlord in such a hurry? Xu Feng looked away a bit awkwardly. I heard the landlord's kid is getting married soon. Probably needs the money bad. We gotta pay it sooner or later anyway. So we might as well just give it to him early. I stared at him on purpose, and tested him by saying, but I haven't gotten paid this month yet. How about you cover the rent this time? Xu Feng got flustered. Didn't you guys get paid yesterday? Why didn't you this time? After saying that, he realized he'd slipped up, and quickly explained, it's not that I don't want to pay, but my salary's all locked up in a fixed deposit. Can't withdraw it right now. And I'm saving that cash to marry you as bride price. But don't worry, babe. I'll just talk to the landlord. Ask him to give us a few days. We can pay when you get your salary. I stared at him without blinking. All those qualities about Xu Feng being steady and thrifty, and good at managing life, suddenly felt confusing and unsettling in that moment. It seemed like from the start of our relationship till now, he'd always been stingy when it came to money. For birthdays, holidays, and special days, I'd never gotten a single gift. But every time he'd insist on cooking my favorite dishes to celebrate together, I was totally into how thoughtful and caring he was. But I couldn't help feeling bummed that there were no flowers. But he was so sensitive. After picking up on my disappointment, he would always comfort me gently. Oh, my poor baby. We gotta save up for the wedding now, so I can't get you gifts. But I promise I'll work hard. When we have enough for a down payment, I can give you a happy home. He said it all so sincerely. How could I even doubt him? Even though he didn't make much, Xu Feng really was working hard to save. No matter how crappy the weather, he wouldn't spend money on a cab. To save on lunch, he brought his own food to work every day. Wasn't everything he did for the sake of our future? Plus, a guy this frugal never haggled over the bride price. Didn't that prove he was sincere? Maybe he really did put it in a fixed deposit and couldn't cash it out right now. I let out a soft sigh, laughing at myself for getting spooked by online posts. Suddenly, something I had been ignoring for so long popped into my head. I couldn't help asking, if all your savings go to the bride price, will you still have enough for the down payment? Xu Feng looked all sincere. But the bride price, you bring it back, right? It's all for our little home anyway. We can just use the bride price for the down payment. My salary isn't great. I've saved up all these years. And it only covers the bride price. Good thing you make decent money. Didn't you put some savings into mutual funds? We can combine that with the bride price. And the down payment won't be a problem. I was a bit taken aback. So you had this all planned out. The down payment comes from the bride price and my funds. Sufeng smiled openly. This is the fruit of our teamwork. Half of the credit goes to you. And half to me. Something felt off inside. But I couldn't quite put my finger on it. What exactly was wrong? Just as I was hesitating, Sufeng started rushing me. Babe, you gotta get to work. Aren't you working overtime today? I suddenly snapped back to reality. Oh right. The client is coming next Monday. This plan absolutely has to be adjusted until it's perfect today no matter what. I mean, this directly affects my bonus check. If the contract goes through smoothly, I could realistically get at least 20,000 bucks or more. I gotta hustle and get to work. But while I was waiting for the bus, the algorithm decided to shove that post right into my feed. Right now the post is blowing up big time. People have even set up a red or blue vote thing. Red team is the ones backing him. Blue team is the ones against him. At this moment, the blue team is slightly winning the vote. The comments under it are absolutely insane. A guy who's so cheap and calculating, and he's about to get engaged. I just hope the girl wisens up soon. And boots him to the curb. Hold up, that's not fair. So women get to test men all they want. But we men can't test you back. And honestly, after they're married, the woman still lives in that same house anyway. So he's not losing anything. Seriously, his rent money was actually going towards the bride price. And that bride price ends up back in their little family fund. In the end, they're both using it together. So nobody actually got the short end of the stick. Why you all saying he's being sneaky? Let me break it down for you. Making the girlfriend pay rent to save up for the bride price. That's basically the girl paying for the guy to marry her. This dude ends up getting married without spending a single dime. Exactly. That's straight up deception. It's so obvious. That lady is a genuinely good person. She's not sweating the small stuff. But this guy's sneaky plan is so obvious it's practically hitting me in the face. Do you all seriously think that we guys need to be completely broke to get married? We have to empty our life savings and be drowning in debt? Is that it? Huh. Finally showing your true colors. Looks to me like you just want the girl to pay for everything. The bride price is on the woman. And the dowry is still on the woman. So what exactly did the guy contribute? Right when it looked like a full-on fight was about to break out, the original poster finally showed up. We men buy a house to get married. But it drains all the savings from both families. If I had let her know up front that I owned a place, what if some gold digger came along? People always say to marry. When you choose a wife, pick someone good. Marrying the wrong woman can mess up 3 generations. I'm doing this for our family's future. I believe he'll see my good intentions. And after we get married, he's gonna live in this house too. Just pay rent for 3 years, and you can stay here forever. No matter how you look at it, it's a win for him. Alright. Then people start calling him out. Lies always get exposed sooner or later. Are you really gonna live your whole life in this fake rental? Your girlfriend doesn't want to buy a house anymore. What if she finds out someday that the house is yours? Are you gonna give the rent back to her? You're testing your girlfriend. What if she's testing you too? Such a great girl. If she breaks up with you when the truth comes out, you'll probably have nowhere to cry. He replies to me pretty quick. That's easy. As long as we buy this house, then everything's legit. Only a fool would spill the truth. This way I can test my girlfriend. And save money too. And make everything look reasonable. It's perfect for everyone. I stay quiet for a long time. Even under the summer sun, cold sweat still runs down my back. Holding on to that tiny shred of hope, I messaged Shufeng. Let's go look at houses this weekend. I saw a nice one in the West City New District. Shufeng waits a bit before replying. Babe, the houses in the New District are way overpriced. Not worth it. I think the neighborhood we're in now is pretty great. Close to the subway. Close to schools. And the surroundings are nice too. Plus the price is reasonable. I talked to the landlord a while back. He's thinking of selling. I was gonna bring it up with you. We've lived here for 3 years already. And we're used to it. So why don't we just buy this place? What do you think? Even though I still couldn't believe it. At this point I'm 100% sure that poster was Shufeng. 3 whole years. He's been testing me and lying to me the whole time. Even using my rent as the bride price. Then bragging about it online. No wonder when I asked how much bride price he'd put in. And how much my family would match as dowry. His eyes were literally sparkling. No wonder he offered to save his own money for a house. And left me to cover all the expenses. No wonder he kept asking me about mutual funds. It was all to fish for information. To figure out my financial situation. From the very start he had it all calculated. Waiting for me to walk right into his trap. One wedding would net him 220 grand. Good thing I found out his real face before the engagement. There's still time. But I've spent so much money on him over the years. I gotta get it back no matter what. That day, besides Shufeng's messages, I also got a call from his mom. Wan honey. Xiaofeng said you guys are buying a house. I think this place you're living in now is pretty nice. It's cheap and convenient for the kids' school. A 3-bedroom place, so when I come help take care of the grandkid I'll have a room. And as parents we gotta support you more. The money for the bride price, why not just use it for the down payment? That way your mortgage will be easier. Don't you think? I was so mad I almost laughed. So the whole family had it all figured out. Not only do they skip the bride price, but they also save on the jewelry. I almost cussed her out right there. But I held it together in the end. It's not the time yet. Not only do I need to get my money back, but I gotta expose their real faces in front of everyone. Alright, auntie. Then just transfer the jewelry money to me. We'll put it together for the down payment. Miss Xu hesitated. I think I'll give it to Xiaofeng instead. He's the one paying for the house anyway. I sweetly persuaded her. Auntie. It has to be transferred to me. On the outside, you can still say it's the jewelry money for your future daughter-in-law. As for where I end up using it, that's my own business. This way, everyone will know you genuinely care about me as your future daughter-in-law. Shufeng's mom laughed. Wan, you're the most sensible. You're right. Then I'll transfer it to you. Just tell your parents. This is for your wedding jewelry. I just smiled and said sure. And sure enough in no time I got his transfer. Trying to save face and get the goods too. This family really is cut from the same cloth. When I got home, Shufeng had already cooked a whole table full of food. He even opened 2 bottles of red wine. He seemed super happy. Babe. Tonight we gotta celebrate big time. First off, tomorrow we're getting engaged. And second, let's toast to us getting our own place soon. I already talked it over with the landlord. We're buying this place to be our future home. What do you think? I kept my face blank. But I don't like it here. Shufeng was real patient. We've lived in this apartment so long we're used to it. And the price is way below market value. Most importantly, I had a master check it out. The feng shui here is great. It's gonna boost your career big time. Shufeng really knew how to read people. He knew I was always into the supernatural stuff. Usually even when meeting a big client, I'd wear my lucky color to up my odds. If I hadn't seen that post earlier, I probably would have said yes. Because I was used to living here anyway. And after I moved in my career did go smoothly. Too bad he was too clever for his own good. He didn't expect to blow his cover early. Seeing me take so long to answer, Shufeng started getting a bit antsy. The landlord's looking to sell soon. If there's a good buyer out there, we'd miss out. What a shame. We better lock this down, quick. Plus we're getting engaged tomorrow. After the engagement you can give me the bride price, and the savings from the fund. We'll use that for the down payment. He had it all planned out. I had to act like it was a struggle. But I still need another 120 grand to pull out my investment. Shufeng was shocked. Isn't this thing withdrawable anytime? I shook my head. It's a new type of investment product. You can only take it out once it hits the amount I set. There's already 220 grand in there. Still need 120 grand more. And you can only cash out on work days. Who told you not to talk it over with me back then? If I'd known we needed to buy a house so fast, I'd have set the withdrawal amount lower. Actually, I was lying to him. Shufeng knew jack about investments and finances. But maybe because of my skills in money management, that made him trust me for no reason, so he didn't doubt it at all. He quickly caught the main point of my words, and instantly broke into a big smile. With over 300k as a down payment, that's enough. Plus my mom gave me the money for the gold jewelry for the house, so it's like the whole family is chipping in. We gotta really thank my parents later. Heh. So basically he didn't want to spend a dime himself, and was just waiting to get rich off the marriage, and then act like his parents did him a huge favor. After saying that he made up his mind. Babe. So I'll transfer the bride price to you first, and you can give it back to me after you take the cash out. I nodded and agreed. Soon 120k landed in my account. Shufeng was stoked. And I was stoked too. Finally got the money. So now it's time to settle every expense from these past years. That night after he fell asleep, I opened his shopping app, and sure enough I found info on real estate in it. This house had Shufeng's name clearly on it. And the purchase date was exactly 3 years ago. Nice. Right after buying a house he couldn't wait to start flipping my money. I calmly took screenshots, then printed out 100 color copies that night. Since your whole family is so good at scheming, then don't blame me for calling you out in public. On engagement day the vibe was super festive. Both sides had a ton of relatives show up, plus villagers who came to help, and people hoping for good luck, and those just there for the excitement. The courtyard at Wu Yangyang's place was packed. Relatives were going around making polite compliments. Some were saying the Xu family landed a great wife. Others were saying she found a great in-laws. And even more said the Xus have only one son, Shufeng. So after marrying in she'd just be living the good life. Shufeng's parents were grinning from ear to ear, telling everyone, showing off. Here comes Wanwan. Of course we treat her like our own daughter. I'm all in on this daughter-in-law. Just made a big chunk of cash the other day. Let her pick out the gold jewelry. Whatever she likes we buy it. No need to hold back. Oh man. And the bride price we're not haggling at all. Whatever the daughter-in-law says goes. We only got one kid. So we gotta make this wedding a big deal. My mom couldn't help but ask. About buying a house after the engagement like we talked. That house thing. Dad Lou quickly jumped in. No worries. The money's all ready for the kid. And he already picked out the house. We can buy it any time. Seeing the Shu parents all smug like that, I almost couldn't hold back my laugh. But Shu Feng was freaking out already. He leaned over and whispered, "Did you get that money out yet? We're about to hand over the bride price soon." I smiled coolly. The system's a bit slow sometimes. Don't rush it. It should be fine in a bit. In all the hustle and bustle, it was almost time for the tea ceremony. Shu Feng was pacing like crazy. But Shu's mom was all proud. She pulled Shu Feng aside and whispered, showing off. "See, my idea's the best, right? Getting a wife without spending a dime. And he still has to thank us for helping with the down payment. Just wait and see. If you don't grab it now, when will you ever get another chance?" He was being careful. But didn't notice I was right behind him hearing everything. Right then, Shu Feng was about to speak. But the relatives cut him off with all their chatter. "Hurry up and let our future daughter-in-law serve tea. After drinking this tea, she'll have to call us mom and dad. Soon we'll all be family. This girl's lucky. Got such a great mother-in-law. Not just generous with the bride price, but also giving out a ton for the gold jewelry. Heard your bride price is 12 grand. In our village that's a solid amount. But Meng Jin's daughter definitely deserves it. And I heard whatever bride price you give, the other family matches it as dowry. Xiao Fengsha's lucky too. Found such a great father-in-law. Shu Feng's hometown wasn't exactly thriving economically, and the bride price was always pretty low. So 12 grand really did seem like a lot in their eyes. Plus my family was putting up the same amount as dowry. That made the Shu family feel like they were on top of the world. But who would have guessed it was all a scam? It was just money going through my hands. And ending right back in their own pockets. Everyone was pushing us along. Then someone handed me a teacup. The custom around here is, on the engagement day the bride has to kowtow to her in-laws. After that, she's supposed to treat them like her own parents. Right. After you kowtow you're officially family. Shu Feng's parents were looking at me with smiles, and they weren't trying to stop it at all. I was just fuming inside. I looked up at Shu Feng. "Why didn't you tell me about this tradition?" Shu Feng awkwardly turned his face away. "I don't really get these things either. It's just a ritual anyway, just do what they say." My dad wasn't having any of it. What year is this? Nobody does the kowtow thing anymore. We never made Wanwan do that. If she's supposed to treat them like parents, then they should go by our standards. My mom jumped in quickly. "That's right. If it's a custom, then let Shu Feng kowtow to us first." Shu Feng's parents quickly put a stop to that. "No way. We don't have a rule here where the groom kowtows to his in-laws. Wanwan's marrying into our family, so she becomes one of us. Of course she has to kowtow to us. Xiao Feng isn't marrying into her family. A man's knees are worth gold. He can't just kneel down easily." They were saying it with so much conviction. My parents' faces fell right away. I stopped my parents from blowing up, and spoke calmly. "Kowtowing is fine. But then we need to bring out the bride price. In your tradition, no one gets married for free and makes money off it, right? Buying a house all with the daughter-in-law's money. And that's not considered marrying in. That doesn't deserve your son kowtowing to his in-laws." As soon as I finished, Shu Feng's face turned pale. Wanwan. "I already sent you the 12 grand bride price. The transfer record is still there. You can't just back out now." Shu Feng's mom also quickly tried to dodge the blame. "Yep. I already transferred you the money for the 3 gold pieces. You can't take the cash and then pretend it didn't happen." Even the crowd that was just loud and lively suddenly went dead silent. I spoke up without breaking a sweat. "Your family made yourselves look good. Saying it was 120k bride price sounded nice. But behind the scenes you wanted me to hand that money back to you for the house down payment. Even the 3 gold pieces were just in my name for show. All of it was demanded by my future mother-in-law to go toward the house. Left and right. That money never even got warm in my hands. Before I had to give it back." The Juice's faces instantly dropped. My dad got pissed. "Is this how you do things? You guys grab a good reputation for yourselves, while sneaking around doing shady stuff behind the scenes. And you still have the nerve to ask my daughter to kowtow to you." My mom was shaking with anger too. "Your family sure knows how to play the game. You don't spend a single cent on the wedding. Yet you're out there bragging that you gave us a bride price. Where do you get the audacity?" Shu Feng couldn't even care about saving face now. He forced himself to ignore everyone's nasty stares, and tried to cover for his family. "Didn't we all agree on this together? Even if we used the bride price for the down payment, that money was still from our family's savings. It was to give you a home, wasn't it? We didn't ask your side to chip in anything. Why do you have to make such a big deal out of it? Mrs. Xu finished, and chimed in. Yeah. That money came from our own hard work and savings, but anyway, once you're married, you'd bring the bride price back anyway. Sooner or later it was all going toward the house, right? Whispers started rippling through the crowd. The Zeus really didn't handle this right. Making it sound like they were offering all that money, but then taking it right back after the wedding. Yeah. The girl's dowry was legitimately brought along. Even if her bride price was 200k, it's all fake. But they had a point though. Even if it went to the house, it was still the Zeus's own saving. They didn't make the in-laws pay. Hearing someone take her side, Mrs. Shu's confidence got a big boost. She spoke up boldly. Right. How can you say we're trying to rip you off? Did we ask you to spend a single cent? That's exactly what I was waiting to hear. I pulled that stack of printed papers out of my bag, passed it around to all the relatives and folks from the hometown, finally gave one copy to Xu Feng. We've been renting this house for 3 years, and it's actually yours, right? But I've been paying the rent all by myself these 3 years. Just about 120,000. Xu Feng was totally shocked. Blurted out. How did you know? Then he realized he slipped up, quickly covered his mouth. I stared at him without blinking. Said coldly. I can't believe I was fooled for 3 whole years, and you still have the nerve to charge me rent above market price. So from the start your family was scheming against me, taking my rent and calling it your dowry, then asking for it back to buy a house. And your mom did the same thing. The money for the gold jewelry came over and then got taken back for the house. Since you're the landlord yourself, in the end all the cash smoothly lands back in your pocket. The crowd around was buzzing with disapproval. I gave my final verdict. A family full of such scheming is a total disaster. I absolutely cannot step into it. Everyone here please be my witnesses. Today I'm calling off the wedding with Xu Feng. Xu Feng was dumbfounded. He stood there watching the pointing and murmuring crowd, not knowing how to handle it. His parents were just as stunned. The Xu family always cared so much about face. This time, under the cold remarks from the villagers, they couldn't lift their heads. Who would have thought? The old Xu family was this cunning. Never heard of making the daughter-in-law save up her own dowry. Yeah, exactly. They clearly bought a house, but still made her pay rent for so many years. Using that as dowry is bad enough. And then asking for it back to buy a place. Next step is making the girl keep paying the loan. They're totally draining her dry. Squeezing her to the limit. Good thing this girl found out early. Or she'd really be walking into a disaster. The Shu's kid pulled this off. It's just too shady. Finally, after a brief moment of shock, Xu Feng snapped out of it quick. He rushed forward and started explaining urgently. Wan. I was planning to tell you after the wedding. Wanted to surprise you. That money is still our family savings. It's still money we'll use together as a couple later. Now you found out early. Even if it's not a surprise. But that's actually a good thing. Having a house is way better than not having one. Not many folks in our village bought a house as early as I did. Yesterday, my parents used to spoil you so much back in the day. Man, you really know how to twist things around. My mom totally lost it. She yanked off the red ribbon from her clothes and chucked it right in Xu Feng's face. Get some shame. You think my daughter's a fool or what? After all this scheming and cheating, you still have the nerve to act innocent, talking about how your mom loves Wan. No matter who you marry, your folks would buy you a house. But all the wedding costs were on my daughter. Seeing her own son get the short end. Xu's mom rushed over to grab my mom, but my dad shoved her hard, and she nearly hit the floor. My dad's a gym teacher. Even though he's older now, he's still in great shape. Face to face with my dad's bulk, the Xu family had to swallow that loss. But Xu Feng was still talking tough. How is that scheming? You'd be stuck renting for 10 grand a year. Wouldn't you pay rent? That's just a normal cost you should have. Just because the house is mine, that's why you're mad. That's like being mad you can't scam freebies. My dad was bright red with anger right then. He pointed at Xu Feng, his voice went up a few notches. You've been cheating my daughter out of how much cash total? Hand it back right now. Xu Feng fumed. The money for the 3 golds and the bride price your daughter swindled away. And you're saying I scammed her? I pulled out the ledger and bank statements to show him. 3 years of rent is 12 grand. Utilities. Living expenses, even clothes I paid for, everything. That's another 17 grand. Even splitting it half and half. His 12 grand bride price wouldn't cover it. Toss in the 3 golds cost. It barely balances out. That money was mine by right. You think you can just keep freeloading forever? All my ledgers and bank statements can prove it. But you claimed you were saving for a house. And secretly hid all your salary. Being all stingy and cheap. Did you ever chip in for anything in life? Xu Feng just stood there stunned. He had nothing to say, of course. After all these years he really hadn't put in a dime. Only a sweet fool like me would think he was saving for a house. And be all understanding. After saying all that, my parents and I left in a hurry. Good thing we found out early. Dump this loser. Let's go home and celebrate. But I had this nagging feeling. Knowing Shufeng as I do, he's someone who never takes a loss. There's no way he'd just let that slide. Sure enough, it didn't take long. That guy sent his post over again. You could feel the panic seeping through. My girlfriend found out the house is mine. I tricked her into giving me the dowry money and the wedding fund. Now she wants to break up. I already apologized to her, but it's not like I crossed a big line. I didn't cheat, I didn't gamble. And I gave her the money back. So why's she so hung up on this? The comments were brutal. We told you there was no way you'd get away with it. Anyone with self-respect would call it quits. You think this isn't a big deal? It's straight up deception. Your whole relationship was built on lies. Once the truth came out, she was done. Did you even give her that money yourself? She probably figured it out. And asked her dad to get it back. If you'd given it willingly, I'd say you've got some guts. That girl was all in when she was with you. Once she's done, she's not looking back. And you want to blame her for being petty. Shufeng replied fast. Honestly, I regret it too. Kept that secret for years. Now the money's gone. And she's gone. How do I even fix this? I know she's on a career high right now. My family wants me to go to her company and make a scene. Would that backfire on me? The comments were just speechless. If you really can't let go of the money, take her to court. Why go to her workplace and start drama? Are you kidding me? All he cares about is getting her money back. It's all his money. And her money is still his money. Exactly. He wants her to come back and work for him. And pay off the mortgage. While he sits back and does nothing. Looking at Shufeng, I felt like he was pure toxic. A chill ran down my spine. So I quickly set up a dummy account. Immediately comment. Dude, you're better than your ex in every way. Why do you have to be stuck on one person? Let's talk assets. You own a place. He doesn't have one. He's not on your level physically. Let's talk skills. His career is on the rise, but you've got him in your hands. He's totally helpless against you. You're clearly way ahead of him. Let's talk brains. He let you play him for 3 whole years. Still cluelessly paying both your rents. You had him wrapped around your finger. That means you're way smarter than him. Your future's definitely unlimited. And lastly, looks. Though I've never seen you. If your ex was willing to fund your life together, you must be drop dead gorgeous. Finding a date later will be easy peasy. So seriously, why would you want to get back together? The best revenge is to find a way better girl. Make him regret it. Make him feel ashamed. Make him beg you to come back. Shufeng was thrilled. 'Cause he replied almost instantly. Bruh, you're totally right. I need to make him realize what a huge loss he took. Seeing his usual confidence, I finally felt at ease. I threw all my energy into work. The new plan quickly got approved by clients and signed smoothly. And I got a promotion because of it. Since this was the biggest commercial project in town. And as the designer of the plan, I also handled some media introduction stuff. Busy life made me forget the past unhappiness. I felt whole and happy. But occasionally during breaks, the algorithm pushed that post to me. It had turned into Shufeng's dating log. He kept trash-talking every blind date. If they wanted gifts on holidays, he'd call them gold diggers. If they wanted haidilao to eat, he saw them as wasteful. Even when talking about splitting rent with a new girl, she said she didn't want a guy without a house. He completely snapped. In the post he kept saying how he tasted them, and they showed their true gold digger colors. They exposed themselves. In comments some cussed him out. Some questioned him. Some even trolled abstractly. I thought it was funny. Laughed it off and moved on. I just never saw it coming. When the project promo flooded the whole city, and they saw me as the lead planner in the video, the Shu family started causing trouble again. Early morning the company entrance was packed with people. My assistant tipped me off right away. There's an old couple up front demanding to see you. My heart skipped a beat. I took one look. Sure enough, it was the Shu parents at the company. The moment they spotted me, they came running over. Shu's mom grabbed my hand tight. Honey, why you gotta have such a big temper? You and Xiaofeng are already engaged. We took the betrothal gifts and bride price. How can you just call off the wedding? Shu's dad also looked all sorry. Sweetie, if you think we did something wrong, we old folks apologize to you. But you can't take the money and then back out. Come on back with us. We gotta get this sorted out. I was fuming inside. Our engagement is already off. Now please leave. Shu's mom started yelling right away. Then give us back the money. Look at you. You're already a big shot boss. How can you not care about 100 grand? That's our life savings, we worked for years. See? And you just took it like that. Not giving a damn about us. Then she plopped on the floor and wailed. Shu's dad pulled the same stunt. Crying and complaining. You wasted 3 years of my son's life. If you didn't want to get engaged, you should have said so. You tricked us for the money, then broke it off. I'm gonna talk to your boss. Aren't you just bullying honest folks? Even the coworkers nearby started whispering. Gossiping about me non-stop. I sighed looking at the crowd. Pulled out my phone to call the cops. Then dialed Shufeng's number. On the other end his voice sounded happy. 1. You changed your mind, right? I know. You must have dated around and found nobody better than me. So you're regretting it now. Honestly, I think we don't need to throw away years of love over nothing. Where are you? I'll come find you now. I didn't want to waste words. Just come to my office now. Surprisingly, Shufeng showed up before the cops. His happy look dropped to ice cold when he saw his parents. Mom, Dad. Why are you here? Seeing her son's shocked face, Shu's mom seemed proud of her surprise attack. Like I said before, this chick's been messing with our son. If they don't get back together, nobody's happy. Shufeng freaked out. I told you guys I didn't agree with your plan. Why won't you listen? After all these blind dates, I only just realized that Songwon was the only one who treated me right. And I'm trying to win her back. How could you guys not figure that out? Shu's dad got pissed too. You dumb kid can't even tell who actually cares about you. That was like 100 grand. Our money just walks off with him like that. Why should we let that slide? Seeing the crowd growing bigger, not just my coworkers. Even the employees from the next company came out. Some people were even recording with their phones. I let out a long sigh, then slowly told the whole story from start to finish. Everyone was totally shocked. What kind of sneaky move is that? Oh my god. Don't ever keep a guy like that around. He looks all good in the dating scene. But who knew he'd pull something so shady? Ladies, you better keep your eyes wide open. This girl did the right thing by dumping him. This guy should just end up alone forever. Living with his calculator is the best fit for him. Hearing everyone's blunt insults, Shufeng's head hung even lower, but his parents wouldn't let it go. So what? You paid the rent, because you wanted to, but this money was tricked out of you. No matter how you spin it, it's not right. Give the money back now, or I'll go to your company's boss, and make them deduct it from your paycheck. Shufeng finally snapped after holding it in so long. If you guys hadn't given me all those schemes back then, I'd never have thought of tricking Wan into paying the rent, or use the marriage gift for a down payment. It got so bad later. You didn't help me fix things with her. Instead, you told me to cause a scene at her company. Do you really think making a mess would get Songwon back with me? You don't care about that. You only care about that money going back into your pockets. As for whether I end up alone, nobody gives a damn. Seeing their son so worked up, the old couple finally shut up, and didn't say another word. Shufeng walked up to me, with his eyes full of longing. Wan, none of what happened before was my fault. They made me do it. I finally realize how important you are to me. Forget about the money. Just give me one more chance, please. I couldn't help but laugh out of anger. First of all, that money was mine in the first place. There is no such thing as giving them back. And another thing, you are a grown adult. Do you just do whatever your parents say, without thinking for yourself at all? You are even worse than them. Best case, you get something out of it. If not, then it is all your parents' fault. They came up with the plan. They did the dirty work. Only you are the innocent one pretending to be a saint. I looked at him, feeling nothing but disgust. You do not get how important I am. You just could not find anyone else. So you came back to me, the easy target to settle down with. Right as Shufeng looked totally crushed, the cops finally showed up. The old couple got a lecture from the police for causing trouble at the company, and got warned if they did it again they would get fined or locked up. Shufeng saw there was no way to fix things, and everyone around was giving him dirty looks. So he had no choice but to leave with his parents all humiliated. At least for a while. They would not bother me again. That business project did do really well. The company copied the same plan, and rolled it out all across the country. I quickly moved on to a new project, a beautiful southern city I had never been to before. Birds singing and flowers blooming there. Spring all year round. With my hard work, I got 2 more promotions in no time. Who knew leaving a bad relationship would boost my career like this? The last time I heard about Shufeng was 6 months later. After that whole thing went down, someone posted the video online. And pretty soon everyone knew about him. People followed the clues and dug up all his info, because the backlash was just too huge. And his work skills were only average. He got laid off from his company quickly. And that post was also uncovered by the super savvy netizens. From then on, he was totally blacklisted in the dating scene. Every time Shufeng showed up for a blind date, the girls saw it was him and turned around and walked away. Slowly even the matchmakers stopped coming around. Shufeng lost his job, and could not find a girlfriend. He got more and more depressed. In the end, he could not even pay his mortgage. So he had to sell the house and go back to his hometown. And I never heard from him again. I felt a mix of emotions when I heard that. Luckily, I stumbled across that post by accident. Luckily, it was not too late. Luckily, I still had the sense to cut my losses in time. Running into the wrong person ain't the end of the world. As long as you have the guts to start over, fate will roll out a fresh new chapter for you.